Jared pulling Fro Knows Photo.com, and I'm here with another raw edit of the week. And again, it is brought to you by Drobo. Drobo stores all your files. I don't think that's their actual theme song, but the Drobo theme song, it's like Drobo Cop. They should do that. They should do like Drobo Cop. I protect your data against scum and criminals that sell nuke. Nuke was that drug they used to inject into their vein or into their neck, which was crazy. But hey, the Drobo Cop protects your data from all things redundant or whatever. So anyway, brought to you by Drobo. Let's get into this. I was flapping early because of the birds. There's 3 birdies. They're not even birds. They're probably, what, parrots? Parakeets? Somebody yell at me. What are they? I'm not sure what they are. They are taken at 1/1000th of a second at f5, ISO 800, using a 70 to 300 4 to 5.6 using the Nikon D. That looks like a 7000. All zeros blend together for me. It's an interesting photo, and I think this is one, obviously, that a raw file edit is definitely in need for, because it's a very flat day. It's just overcast. Not sure what time it was taken at, but it just seems flat. I want to try just to do a realistic edit first. Look at that. I mean, just bumping the exposure 1.25, basically a stop and a quarter, brings it back. I think it brings it back. Pumping up that contrast, boom. Yellow, not so sure. Blue, not so sure. So we're going to have to see where this color is going to go, because right now, the watercolor's off. I mean, everything is off just because of how muted the scene is. So we brought it back. At least I think we brought it back. Bumped the contrast way up to do this. Black levels, gonna go a little thick right there. Boom. 14. Clarity backwards. Nay. Clarity up. Nay. Clarity at 0. Okay. Saturation. Ooh. E. I'm going to go back to 0 on that for the time being. I just want to see what vibrance is a little better. But if I go like that, it's bringing out a lot of the blues. I don't want to add the yellows, and I don't like the pukish color. I'm not a puke color fan. That looks pretty interesting right there. That's a very... Ooh, look at the colors in the eyeballs and the eyes and the beaks and the bills and the wings and all that good stuff. So this is pretty good, I think. We got... There's where the flatness occurred because it was... underexposed, brought it back, and like the color so far. So I'm going to keep tweaking from here. I like this. I wish there was more color, but I don't mind. So far, so good. What else could we do here? I am not doing a post-crop vignette, just because. Not every photo needs that. Yeah, you could be like, hello, I have a white post-crop vignette. Here, I don't come down in here very often. That's camera calibration. Where is the lens correction? Enable custom lens correction. Make. Nikon. I don't do this very often, but wow, it picks the lens right off the bat, which is cool. Let's see what it looks like when we do this. Interesting. I mean, it crops a little bit of the picture. I mean, it makes some straightings. I don't use this very often. Actually, I've never actually used it, but I see it can work in some situations. But in this situation, I don't think it needs it. So there we got that. Pump up the clarity. Pull back on this. Not sure. Still working with this yellow. I don't like yellow too much in the images. I mean, that kind of looks realistic. It's just a matter of tweaking this and finding where I want it to be. I mean, I'd love to see where you guys want it to be, so I'm just gonna... No, I don't like that. I don't want to touch the tint. The tint doesn't seem to be doing what I want. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this so far. Tone curves. Let's see what happens with a strong tone curve. Let's go back to medium and strong. And I'm going to stick with, I'm going to go with the strong. I like the colors here. I'm going to stick with this color, I think, for a minute until I decide to go like this. No. I'm just going to go with that. Let's see what fill light does. No fill light. I'm stopping with this. Adam, you're up. Let's see what you do. You'll probably go all split Tony and curves and stuff on us, but I went from the realistic of what I think the scene would have looked like. Let's see what you come up with, and then we will get to see the photographer's edit. Adam, you are up.
Adam Lerner, and welcome to this week's Raw Edit. This week we have a very cool wildlife shot. We've got these 3 exotic birds, and they are engaged in some kind of ritual activity, mating, fighting for food. Hard to say really, but very cool. It's kind of amazing. The photographer caught the action that these birds were having with their wings spread and their beaks going. Very exciting. Looks to be a very low light shot. Let's get some info here. ISO 800 at 1,000th of a second, so not too bad. Just a tiny bit grainy, so we have to be a little bit careful with how much we punch up or anything down, because we want to avoid getting it too grainy, or at least I would like to. Very first thing I want to do with this shot is I want to correct the angle. It feels like it's skewed a little left, so I'm going to go into the cropping module, and I'm just going to bring this up to about there. Yeah, I'm trying to line it up with that post. Very cool. Okay, so let's keep that like right about there. Now, white balance. I'm not in love with the way it's looking right here, so I want to just work on that a little bit. And I'm just going to bring the color temperature down just to maybe about there. And the tint is a little bit bluish, so I want to just add a little bit of kind of reddishness or something like that. I don't know, somewhere around there. Let's just keep that. Okay, exposure. I'm going to bring up the exposure a little bit, and let's just see. We're gonna go to about there. Very nice. Fill light. Definitely feel like it needs some fill. So I'm going to bring this in here. And I'm adding a lot of fill now, but I really think that after I add, change the black point and add some vignetting, that this will probably be about where I want it. It looks like the tones of the feathers here look more realistic. So I'm kind of liking what all that's done, bringing in all those all that light. Okay, so I'm going to pump up the blacks, and you know what? I'm just going to bring them up to about here. That seems about right. Let me just bring it up a little bit further. You know what? Maybe I'm going to go up to about here. Yeah, that looks really cool. Brightness we're going to keep, and I wouldn't mind just bringing up a little bit of contrast. So let's see. I don't know, somewhere around there. Yeah, that looks cool. Clarity. I definitely want to add some clarity here, because we're lacking a little bit of those midtones. I also want to add some vibrance, and I also want to add some saturation, because it looks like this is a little bit desaturated, and I think that the colors in the bird's eyes and beaks are really cool, and like their face, as well as bringing out some more color to that water. So vibrance is going to give me some more of that. Yeah, let's bring that up to about there, somewhere around. Yeah, we'll keep it about there. That looks kind of cool. And saturation, I want to bring that up too, and that's going to also warm it up a little bit, which I think is going to really help. I mean, look at the detail that we're suddenly getting in the shadow over here. It's just has a little bit more of a richness to it. I like that. Now, as far as contrast goes, looking at the tone curve, I want to actually see what strong contrast does right here, because that's going to bump my highlights and shadows. And look at that. I mean, that difference is huge. And just to give it a little bit of sheen, just to kind of, I don't know, just make it pop a little bit more, I'm just going to add a little bit of highlights to it like that. Now, just to take a quick minute here, let's look at the before and let's look at the after. And you can really see that the after shot has just a lot more punch. It's more vibrant. It seems like there's a lot more going on. As I said originally, I want to add some vignetting to this. I really want to try to bring our attention more to the center of this frame. So I'm gonna actually, you know what, before that, let's sharpen. Let's do that. Let's pick the an eye right here, and I'll just bring that up to about here. Maybe not there, maybe not as much, maybe about there. I'm going to mask it off because I really just want to sharpen the edge detail and not the texture detail so much. So we're just going to go to about there. Absolutely, that's great. Okay, and as we were getting there, we're going to go to the post-crop vignetting, and we're going to go down, 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 and somewhere around there. Yeah. Midpoint, I don't really want to touch right now. I like the way that looks. I'm going to get the roundness up just a little bit here, and I'm going to feather it out a bit. Yeah, somewhere right around there. Yeah, that's it. So that's my edit, and I really feel like if you look at the before and after, the before was a cool shot, great subject, nicely captured, little flat, and now look at it, totally pops. It's vibrant. Those birds are just coming right out of the screen. I'm happy with that, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Jared has.
We are back. We have 3 edits this week. We have my edit on the left, which is the nice and natural looking color one. We've got, well, actually I can't say that. Adam's could be natural color too. And then we've got the photographer's edit all the way on the right hand side. My first reaction, mine's very blue. Adam's is pretty cool. We both brought back some colors, but yours is more yellowy than mine. What do you think?
I felt that the image was a little bit flat and a little cool, and I wanted just to add a little bit of white balance color temperature to it, just to give it a little bit of warmth. And when I did, I found that some of the, I think what would be natural color in the bird's feathers came out.
Yeah.
So the color balance on this one was tricky to me because I didn't want the water to look weird, and I don't know. I think that, maybe with the photographer going kind of sepia black and white, that was maybe a good call because it was so low light, because there was not a lot of color information. If you look at how pixelated it was, going black and white was not a bad call. But
you felt that I felt that it needed color based on the birds. And also, it seemed like their shot was underexposed by like a whole stop.
Exactly.
So it was tougher to bring back. But when I was working it and trying to bring it back, I wanted to bring in that color. I wanted to bring in the white of the birds and whatnot. Obviously, I don't know where it was taken, so I don't know what the actual scene looked like. But that,
sure.
What I did in mine is what felt right at the time.
Right.
You went with the post-crop vignette again.
I did.
There's not, it is what it is.
I think the photographer did a vignette as well.
Yeah, and I think that there could be some, as always, interesting edits that come of this because you can go black and white, you can go sepia, you can. I think I may have tried split tone to make it pink or something, but there's a lot that you can do to it, and I like the natural colors that yours have. Maybe warming mine up slightly would give it a little more. I don't know, something, but I seem to have a yellow issue where I don't like too much yellow in my images.
Sure, and I think that on the one that you did here, brightening it up I think was really cool, and you did something to really punch up the color of the eyes, and I guess the water kind of took on that bluish hue as well.
Let's take a look, because I don't remember what I did.
Yeah,
contrast.
You added a ton of vibrance, which
Yep.
I actually did as well. I added some vibrance and some saturation. And you really pumped up the exposure quite a bit on this one as well.
Oh yeah, I want to stop in 1.45.
I didn't really want to lose a lot of the detail on the wings, and I think that's why I kept the exposure where it's at to retain that detail, just to keep it more dramatic.
Sure. Well,
but
I tend to blow out my What was that?
I think they're all cool edits.
Yeah, I would like to see the photographer's edit be a little brighter. I just think it's hard to look at because it's so muted.
It's muted and it's monochromatic, so that it just kind of like, that was the thing about the image I think to begin with, is that because it was shot in such low light, and it was kind of grainy, that there really was kind of like that one note about the way it looked. It was kind of flat to me.
Sure. So yeah, I have a tendency personally to blow out certain things more often than not. Like I don't mind blowing out certain white areas, and I used to get in trouble. I used to, I probably got in trouble in college for blowing out the areas. They're like, but that person's face, there's no tone there. There has to be tone. I'm like, it's my photo, and I don't think there needs to be tone there. I had teachers do that to me all the time. I'm like, well, you're not supposed to grade based on your personal feeling. You're supposed to grade based on photography. And I would just give it right back to the teachers, because I just felt that this was my style, and that's how I wanted to present it. And I know it's their class, and you choose to either do by the what the teacher wants, or you do what you want, which is what I ended up doing anyway.
Sure.
Because it's a grade. Who cares about a grade? I mean, I think back to this image, though, I think that,
this image is tough because the subject matter is really interesting. I think the composition is cool, a little bit tight. You know, it might have actually been cooler shot horizontal, but you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Sure.
So I think that because the composition and the action is so interesting and so intense, and it's actually captured, it's not all blurred out. You know, the low light and the low color information, you know, kind of, you know, can be forgiven or not forgiven. It just, you know, you're more interested in the subject matter than actually the other bit.
Sure. So we'll leave it at that for this week. I think it's another interesting RAW file. And with that being said, it would be really great if you guys could send in some of your best RAW files for us to edit to fronosphoto@gmail.com. Be sure to download this particular RAW file and show us what you would do with it. Show your edit. Put it in the forum along with how you did the edit so that other people can see, because it's always interesting to see what type of edits you guys come up with. Adam, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Drobo, for sponsoring another video, and we will see you guys next week with another RAW edit. Jared Poland, fronosphoto.com. See ya!